Good morning. Look at all these college.
Bombs away.
Pretty cool to see all these college sweatshirts. Awesome. So, thank you for having me here. And my name is Sam Lee, as Ms. Rivera said. And before I get into my college career journey, I want to share some of my background with you. So, I was born in Walnut Creek, about an hour and a half away from here, and I grew up in a neighborhood right next to Homestead High School. We moved there before I started first grade. And I have a younger brother who's not pictured. He's a music professor in Japan. He's been there for about 10 years. How did I choose my college and career? Well, I have to say that I had a mild tiger mom. So she shared a vision with me when I was in junior high. And this vision, and I need some of your support here, because this next thing you're going to see, it's a little embarrassing, and I need to know that I'm part of your family, so have my back here. So, yeah. 8th grade. Oh man. So her college choices for me were based upon name recognition and prestige, as well as career. And my dad, he had a pretty unconventional education job path. He got a GED in the Navy and all that stuff. So his input to me was just get good grades, and he pretty much agreed with what my mom said. So their path for me was doctor, lawyer, engineer. And those were the schools I needed to apply to and get into. Sorry, I got my notes here on my phone. So on to high school I embarked, and it was just me and myself, because my parents weren't educated here, so I had to figure a lot of stuff out on my own. And a lot of my friends were going on college visits. Not an option for me. My parents figured that, hey, we already told you where to go to school, so why visit? So, as I was going through the application process, I got to that section of the application that said major to declare. I was puzzled. Up to that point, I'd taken one aptitude test that I can remember, the ASVAB test, the Armed Services Vocational. Have you guys taken that? Okay. Anyway, it was supposed to say, hey, here's a list of careers that you may have an aptitude or interest in. It was not helpful, guys. It returned a laundry list of careers. It was just unbelievable. It's like, what am I going to do? So I went back to considering the career paths my mom had chosen for me, or guided me to. So engineering. Okay, I was in advanced math in high school, but I had to work pretty hard to get good grades there. And in college, math is only going to get harder, right? And to be honest, I really wasn't geeky enough. I didn't feel a pull for engineering at all. So then that left me with life sciences, or liberal arts. Okay, medicine, some kind of bioengineering degree or something like that. Or legal studies. That would put me into the liberal arts camp. But to be honest with you, I honestly did not know. I had no clear direction. Do I want to be a doctor or a lawyer? I have no idea. So around this time, I started to get really attracted to the idea of a liberal arts education. Just the whole philosophy was really appealing to me, just to be able to take a broad spectrum of classes, so fulfill my general education requirements for graduation, and take a sampling of courses, see what interested me. So that was the major I put down on my UCF, undeclared. I don't know, is that okay? We're having students do okay. Yeah, undeclared. So that was my option. So those are the colleges I applied to, and those were the results. I got waitlisted at Pomona, and my top 3 in order were those. And when I talked to my parents about Claremont, Well, first of all, let me just say, they were pretty clear. They were going to pay for my college. So I talked to them about, hey, I really want to go to Claremont, private school, liberal arts education in the LA area. Okay. Tiger Mom, name brand recognition. Here's the answer I got. Never heard of the school. So I wasn't going. Mom, Dad, UCLA. Westwood, Bel Air. Maybe I might end up in a movie. Get randomly picked out as I'm walking around Westwood. Why go to UCLA if you got into Berkeley? Oh, yeah. As an undeclared major, I really couldn't make an argument for UCLA over Berkeley. If I had said something like, I really want to be a film studies major, a clear advantage that UCLA has over Berkeley, maybe I had a shot. But if I had said that, they wouldn't know I was lying. So to Berkeley, I went. Financial aid. Guys, I gotta tell you, I was pretty diligent about doing my homework, studying for tests, but when it came to the financial aid, I really couldn't have done a better job here. I should have put in a lot more work. I put in almost no effort. I applied to 2 scholarships. Piddling. And the first scholarship I applied for was really simple. It was a journalism contest. I was on the TAF staff, and my advisor said, oh, you should submit a news article. And, okay. So I submitted it, and I won $600. Paid for books. And then, since I got into Berkeley, I was selected to apply for to interview for the alumni scholarship. And, okay, warning, I did not prepare. I went in cold turkey. Bad decision. Undisciplined. I was very undisciplined in many areas. I did not think to consider what questions they might ask me or how I might answer those questions. And because they didn't interview me until, I think spring, summer, I had totally forgotten what I had written on my UC application, especially my essay. So when they started asking questions off the essay, I was led to some awkward moments, silence. So needless to say, I did not get that one. But word of caution, when you apply for these scholarships and you're called for an interview, please prepare for my sake. Just remember me. And I would have to say also that, your parents or whomever may say, hey, we're going to pay for everything. But, it really behooves you to put in all the effort you can. Because as time allows, I know we're all busy and stuff like that, but I would say really try to manage your time and carve out time to fill out those scholarship applications, because whoever's going to pay your bills for college, their financial situation could change and make it pretty difficult for you to finish college. And unfortunately, that happened to my parents. My parents' financial situation took a turn for the worse while I was in college. And it didn't affect me that much because I was completing my college career, but it impacted my brother a lot. It made it pretty hard for him to, he was really thinking, he was going to a 4-year school, and he was seriously considering going back to De Anza because of that change in my parents' financial situation. But fortunately, he was able to make a case to the financial aid office at his school, and they took care of him. And then on the FAFSA side, that's what my parents got. They got a parent loan, and they accepted that. So at college, at Berkeley, when you're undeclared major, you go into the College of Letters and Science. And there are 5 major departments, as shown there. And I loved it. Because there were 2 major benefits to being in the College of Letters and Science for me, as an undeclared major. One, I was able to get the liberal arts education that I was longing for, surprisingly. You think of Berkeley as an engineering school. It's not. It's not just engineering school. It has a great liberal arts program. English, philosophy, rhetoric, economics, like number 2 in the country. So, and a great undergraduate business school. So, don't think of Berkeley as just an engineering school, and I think it's a little easier to get in. It's still hard, but a little easier than, say, engineering. But I was able to sample, these are the topics I was able to study my first 2 years. And it was amazing to me, because when I was signing up for classes my first semester as a freshman, I was looking at the course catalog. It was amazing, mind-blowing. Because, you're thinking, oh, high school, you might got this. And then you look at the course catalog for college, it's like, wow. Look at all these topics, look at all these courses, pretty cool stuff. Professors that are, world-renowned. And it was pretty cool. And I would encourage all of you, when you're doing your college research, take a look at the course catalog and compare and contrast. See what grabs your attention. So as I was going through my studies, I found myself drawn to economics and business. And I came down to, okay, what do I major in? What do I decide I'm doing? And business, I would have transferred out of college in letters and science into the undergraduate school of business. And it's a more rigid major. The opportunities to take classes outside the major were pretty small, very limited. Whereas if I was an econ major, I would stay in this college and still be able to take a smorgasbord of classes and just really fulfill my intellectual curiosity. But economics, it's kind of a soft science, so to speak. It's a social science. It's very theoretical. I didn't see myself getting a master's degree or a doctorate in economics. And I felt the need to get something marketable under my belt, like accounting and marketing or financial management. So that's where business fit in. So I decided to split the difference. So I took a major in economics so I could get that freedom of taking classes outside my major in the College of Letters and Science. And then did a minor in business so I could still get those classes that would help me get a job later on. Okay, so career research in college. I would say that when you're, I don't know what they do nowadays for school newspapers, whether it's all online at the colleges or not, but for me, my freshman year, I just started noticing that as I read through the paper, all these companies were placing ads for on-campus interviews or meet the firm nights. And I started paying attention. Who's coming to campus? Who's interviewing? Who wants to meet students? What majors are they interested in? And then when I declared econ and business minor, that kind of narrowed the field of focus for me. And started paying more particular attention to who's coming on campus. And also directed me towards the Meet the Firm nights. Now I have to tell you, as a poor college student, I love free food, right? And at Meet the Firm nights, free food. And once again, I should have done a lot better job here of preparing, because I went in cold. What I should have done was research the company and thought up some questions to ask that would make me seem articulate and intelligent. Nope. I had to sign my name on the sign-in sheet, and then get my name tag on, like right here, and then sit down, listen to the presentation about how great my company is. You want to work here. We have great benefits, yada, yada, yada. Then you break. Free food. Mingle with the employees. Don't just eat the free food and jet, which is what I did frequently. You're there to make an impression, folks. Remember that. I did not think that. I was not too smart in that area. They want to make an impression on you because they're trying to recruit the cream of the crop. Okay? They want as many people applying so that they can get a bigger selection of candidates. You're there to make an impression. You don't want to be a bump on the log. You don't want to make a bad impression either. So the key is to prepare. Think of questions to ask. And don't be a brown noser. They'll sniff that out right away. Okay? Because what happens is, at the end of Meet the Firm night, they go through that sign-in sheet. And they say, hey, who did you talk to? Who impressed you? If they submit a resume, should we interview them? You want them to say, we want to interview them. Okay. On-campus interviews, same sad story for me. Did not prepare really, went in cold turkey, kind of arrogant. Not good. Prepare, research the companies, show some interest, real interest in the company. They want to hear, why are you interested in working for us? Why? Think about that. Give a thoughtful answer. It could be as simple as admitting that I know nothing, I just want to be a sponge and learn. That's a good answer, actually. Because when you're out of college, you really don't know much. You have to learn. You're on a steep learning curve once you get that first job. Summer internships. I would use summer internships as an opportunity to figure out, is this really the job you want to do? And if it turns out it's not, that's good. That you take one off the list, right? But regardless of whether you like the internship or not, please do yourself a favor, do a good job. Because you need a good reference from that manager to get that next internship, the next job. Okay, so after college, I graduated in 1992, the teeth of a very tough recession. Very tough. And the on-campus interviews, a lot of companies were coming, but they were pretty much straight up saying, we're here because we made a commitment to be here, but we're not hiring. That was kind of deflating. The companies that were hiring, they were cream of the crop type. They were like the most the companies you really wanted to work for if you're an econ major or a business major, investment banking firms, management consulting firms. Well, guess what, folks? It's like getting into Harvard or Berkeley. They take the cream of the crop, right? They're going to all the top schools in the country, and they're picking the best ones. So you may be going to the best school, but that doesn't necessarily entitle you to the best, working at the best company or the best job. You got to earn it if you're not part of that top percent. So when I came home, I was kind of blind. I was kind of a sheep. I was going to all these on-campus interviews because people in my major were going to interview with these companies. So I was just kind of following. I really didn't take the time to consider, is this really the industry I want to be working in? Do I really want to be working in investment banking for 80 to 100 hours a week, working weekends, making a lot of money, but not being able to enjoy it because I'm working so hard? It took me a while to figure that out. So I think you got to I guess it took me a while to become self-aware, I guess is what I'm saying. So be self-aware and figure out what you like, what you want out of your career. Do you really want to work, your life away and not enjoy your weekends at a particular company or job? And the only companies to work for are not just, or the companies you can work for are not just Google, Apple, Facebook. Or Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, McKinsey, Bain & Company. There are plenty of other companies to work at that are not mega corporations, startups, smaller companies. I totally didn't realize that there's a ton of companies in the valley here when I graduated. But I was just solely focused on all these big name companies coming to the campus. So anyway, came home, tail was kind of tucked between my legs, didn't have the glamorous job, had no job, and had some time for some introspection. And sure, yeah, it was tough to find a job because of the recession. But I also realized, maybe I'm not interviewing that well. I'm not really preparing, maybe I'm not preparing as well as I should for interviews. So that's when I got an interview book. And it blew my mind because it made me realize, dude, I have no idea how to prepare for interviews. Or how to answer questions in a professional manner that still made me look good, especially those trick questions. So this interview book was immensely helpful to me. And it did help me get that first job. My first job was not glamorous, as I said. In fact, it was a job my mom said, no, you should apply for this job. But it wasn't related to my major, so I refused. And then finally, after a couple more months of looking fruitlessly and looking at the credit card bill coming in every month, my parents were going to cover that forever. So I had to pay my bills. I had to carry my weight. First job. You can basically call that the customer complaints department, folks. Customer complaints. I'd get complaints like, you said you're going to ship your parts to us 3 weeks ago. We're still waiting. Or an HP factory building hard drives calling up saying, you haven't shipped us your parts yet. We had to shut down the factory. We can't build any more hard drives. Ugh. Not fun. Not fun. I was working 80 to 100 hours a week. Tedious job, just grinder, meat grinder. But I gave it my best shot. I did a good job every day, even though I hated it. Well, I hated it after about 8 months. The physical, mental toll just couldn't take it anymore after 8 months. And that's when I was like, aha, investment banking was not for me. I would have been working these same hours in investment banking, and I hated it. So anyway, I went to my boss. I said, I hit the end of my rope. I can't do this anymore. I gotta quit. And what she said to me was surprising. She said, hey, you've done a great job. What can we do to keep you at maximum? I was humbled. So I said, you know what? Let me transfer to finance. Let me work for my summer internship manager. And at my 1 year anniversary, they made it so. So that put me on the track. I started off as a financial analyst. That's a typical career path for someone in finance on the financial planning and analysis side, also known as FP&A. This is not a typical accounting track. You can expect to spend about 3 to 5 years on the bottom 3 levels, and then beyond that, it's like the NBA. Only so many people get to that level, right? There's only so many jobs available. And then how fast you progress up this ladder is solely based upon you, your ability, your creativity, your intelligence, what you bring to the table. Do you bring business insights? They don't want bumps on a log. If you're a bump on a log, you're not going to progress very far. And that may be fine for you, and that's fine. That's okay. So here's my career summary. There's a lot here. I'll let you read it while I'm talking. But I think what you'll see is that I stayed at Maxim a long time, 16 years. That's an eternity in Silicon Valley. And the biggest motivation I had when I started working was, number one, do a good job. Make myself indispensable, irreplaceable, as much as I could. Be the go-to guy. Number two, work for a growing company where I could grow with it professionally and also in terms of responsibility. And towards the end of my tenure at Maxim, the company growth, well, I joined when there was only 600 people. And by the time I was ending my tenure there were 10,000. And towards the end of my tenure there, I was really missing the smaller company size. So I really had this desire to work at a pre-IPO company and help take it public. And so I had a few iterations that didn't go as I hoped, but all of them helped me get that next job. And then during Lucid Motors, I joined that company after it raised $200 million, and 2 years later it was almost gone. But that really germinated a desire within me to be part of a fundraising effort at a company, and a successful one. And I was able to do that at Kespri. And then it took me 10 years. 2008, I also had a desire. I want to get out of hardware. I want to get out of manufacturing. I want to work in software, internet. It took me a while. It took me almost 10 years. Kespri was that software company. But what does an FP&A person do? Okay. This is Apple's earnings release from July 31st for the July quarter, or the quarter ending June 30th. Left side, historical financial data. Accountants do that stuff. Right side, that's projections. That's what FP&A people do. So Apple has an army of FP&A people figuring out what all that stuff's going to be. They're talking to people on iPhone, Apple Watch, saying, how many widgets are you going to sell? How much are we going to sell it for? How much is it going to cost to build that? How much money will it take because of engineering, people, time, materials? We use a crystal ball to project the future. I know it sounds mysterious. But it's really just, we're modeling the future based upon assumptions. And the assumptions should not come from finance. They have to come from your business partners. And we use Microsoft Excel, the tool I love and hate at the same time. Okay, so startups. What I like about startups. After working at big companies and small companies, what I really find that I prefer is the entrepreneurial nature and the agility of startups. There's a lot less bureaucracy, things get done a lot faster. Opportunity to make a bigger impact. And as a finance person, I see the whole financial statement of the company. I don't see just one little piece of it like I would at a big company. Like, oh, I'm the sales and marketing finance person. No, not for me. I want to see the whole thing. Okay, Kespri. So, the accomplishment I'm most proud of lately is the fact that I was part of a team that successfully raised $33 million last year. Very cool. I wanted to achieve that goal for a long time. And I wanted to achieve it. I couldn't do it myself. It was a team effort. Collaboration is very key. You got them. I really like the fact that you guys are doing collaborative stuff. It's very important. You can't work together. You can't do this type of thing by yourself. You really can't. Okay, so I'm going to end my presentation with a video, 2.5 minutes. It's about what Kespri does. might start off loud. Is there sound? Yeah, this might not work with this plan here. Okay, I'll supply some commentary. So basically, Casper is a drone analytics and aerial intelligence company. We have a cloud platform that does the analytics. We use what do you call it? AWS, Amazon Web Services, for our cloud. And basically, the drone is just an image sensor. We're just taking pictures, and these pictures are being uploaded to the cloud. And in the cloud, we have a software platform that does all these analytics in terms of, so for a mining company, they would use the drone to fly over these piles, like that, and the analytics will be able to measure what's the volume of that pile, what's the mass of that pile. And then we can also do some analytics about change over time, like what was it yesterday versus today. We also use it for inspection. There's a little little clip about that later. But here in this instance, they're using the drone. Okay, here's the inspection. So here, insurance companies like State Farm, farmers use us for hail damage. So when there's a big hail damage event, they send out an adjuster to climb your roof. In today's world, they climb your roof and they visually inspect for hail damage, and then they write a claim on them based on that. But there's a couple things. It's dangerous to climb a ladder because you might fall off, right? So, and it takes time. It's very time consuming. State Farm and farmers, they want to do this faster. They want to quicken the process. So they use a drone to fly over the roof, and the analytics analyzes the roof and identifies hail damage. And then when the flight's done, within 30 minutes, we want to get it so that the claims adjuster can print out a report right then and there. So it quickens the whole process of filing a claim, getting your claim is shortened tremendously, and they can cover a lot more houses. Okay. Questions? Yeah.
How do you feel that you become more self-aware about your topics?
I think for me, that's actually a good question. I think for me, it was just more a combination of what was interesting to me, and also kind of what can help me get a job. So I was very focused on that as well. So when I found myself gravitating towards economics and just like, hey, I like this class, I like the course, I like the subjects, then it became just a natural, okay, what are the kind of the jobs that I could get as an economics major? And I would say, follow your heart on that. Because the worst thing you could do is become a doctor when you hate the course of study. I mean, why put yourself through that misery? Life's too short. You know? I mean, if you don't want to be a doctor, don't be a doctor. If you know that for sure. My mom was disappointed when I told her I'd be an economics major. She actually cried. But I'm fine now. I did fine. I did all right. You know, yes? Not sure. I think so. I was pretty self-motivated. It definitely helps to have a parent or an adult figure saying, hey, this is something you need to strive for. It gave me something to shoot for. I think it's important to have a goal. Without a goal, you're kind of lost. You know, you don't really know what to aim for, right? Like athletes, I'm sure there's a lot of athletes here. You know, if you want to improve your batting average, right? You have to work on that. right? You have to have a goal. If you don't have a goal, you're just going to keep swinging away. And, you won't be able to lay off the high and fast one or the fall in the dirt kind of thing. So you just got to have a goal. And it'll take some time to figure that out. I changed my mind a lot of times.